Halloween is coming. You have to get ready. We are counting on you to bring us home this year.
Welcome to Top Video Gems. I'm Jay, and today we're continuing my Halloween series review, where I'm going to review every entry in the long-running Halloween series, from the original movie all the way up until the release of the 13th entry, Halloween Ends. Fresh off the success of Halloween, Dimension wanted a sequel, but Rob Zombie had no interest in making said sequel. Well, long story short, the studio said either you make it, or we'll find someone else to do it for you. Rob Zombie reluctantly signing on, creating what we know as Halloween 2. Family is forever. Halloween 2 was released on August 28th, 2009, directed and written by Rob Zombie, a first in a series to have a director return back-to-back. Halloween 2 opened at number 3 behind The Final Destination and Inglourious Basterds, and finished its run with 39 million worldwide on a 15 million budget. A considerable decline from the last film in the series. Halloween 2 picks up just 1 year after 2007's Halloween, where the survivors of that gruesome night are all struggling with their own personal PTSD. Laurie in particular, who has changed drastically from how we know her in the last movie. Sheriff Brackett seems to have taken her in as an adoptive daughter, living with Annie now too. Sam Loomis goes full Gale Weathers top story, publishing his tell-all book on the Michael Myers dynasty, putting everyone involved under a microscope in the process, and he cares little to none.
I'm not going in there until you go get me a cup of PG Tips with a splash of milk, and I want it sizzling hot.
The film has an amazing opening scene that plays out a lot like the original Halloween 2, where Michael escapes from the ambulance truck that picked him up and tracks down Laurie in the hospital, only for this all to be one big dream sequence, shooting us 1 year later. Michael has been out there living on his own in the wild, eating whatever the fuck he wants, I guess. The film also gives us a flashback of Michael as a child back in Smith's Grove, where his mother, played by Sherry Moon Zombie, gives Michael a toy of a white horse, and Michael seems to really love it. In the extended cut, Rob Zombie puts in his opening shot, White Horse, linked to instinct, purity, and the drive of the physical body to release powerful and emotional forces, like rage with ensuing chaos and destruction. Excerpt from the Subconscious Psychosis of Dreams. This is what Zombie is telling us is driving Michael Myers in this timeline. It's a simple psychological connection that this movie has decided to give as a motive to why Michael is so hell-bent on killing. And no disrespect to the child actor in this film, I think they made a mistake by recasting him. I think they have totally different energies, and they would have benefited from bringing the original Michael back. This movie has a lot going for it, giving us an even deeper look into Haddonfield, with all its cornfields, and more cornfields, a barn, a strip club! This would all be fun slasher territory, but almost every character in this is either super unlikable, or we don't get enough screen time with them to even really care. Sam Loomis takes most of the screen time here, and in my opinion, this is probably the worst take on Loomis. The story of profiting off of something so terrible is an interesting one, but it's squandered by such a toxic portrayal of male ego.
When I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you.
Pushing way past the point of redemption. Laurie has submerged herself in Rob Zombie's closet. Total character 180, with new friends.
What up, Dick Lickers?
But it also works when you think about how something so traumatic would change someone. I just wish they would have made her character a little easier to take.
Fuck you and fuck this!
The movie as a whole almost feels like it's embarrassed to be a Halloween movie, feeling more like the recent Hatchet than an actual Halloween movie. And maybe that has something to do with Zombie being forced into writing a story he didn't even want to write in the first place. The biggest repeat offense of this series is the money, greed, and clout from the studio. Zombie was coerced into doing this movie when he had no interest in telling Michael's story again. So he ended up making a Devil's Rejects spiritual successor, with much more sexual violence. I mean, did Annie have to suffer the same fate as the last movie? Why have this character return to relegate her to falling into the same path as before, when unnecessary, gratuitous nudity? This film, again, feels like it wants to be something else, with little to no Michael mask, no iconic score, or theme until the very end credits. And this. Yeah. It just felt like Zombie was throwing the story into a bonfire, rather than giving a true concluding chapter in the remake saga. I also feel like the White Horse subplot would have benefited from being taken out, replaced with more character development for our surviving characters. By the end of the finale, either every character is dead, has gone mad, or didn't really add to the movie as a whole. Halloween gets a 1 out of 5 stars for me, with the best scenes being the opening hospital scene that didn't really happen. Love you, Octavia Spencer. I see you. After the underperformance of Halloween 2, it would take over 9 years for the series to return to theaters. Next, I'll be reviewing Halloween 2018, with Jamie Lee Curtis making her grand return to the series, creating another timeline and erasing every other sequel besides the original movie. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. If you can, subscribe and hit the bell to know when videos are dropping. Thanks again for stopping by Top Video Gems. I'm Jay. Happy Halloween, everyone.